Hi, my name is Adrianna King. I'm from the south side of Chicago. Born and raised on the south side. I went to Hyde Park Academy, graduated in '06. Um, I'm a model. I'm a sister. I'm a entrepreneur. I'm a pianist, and I'm trans. The south side was okay. Growing up, I had a childhood growing up. As I got older, there were certain differences I knew with myself, and I acknowledged that at an early age. It's like I always felt like an outcast, but I made myself feel norm to the other people that's around me. Like it was like a condition, conditioning, a social conditioning, where I had to conform myself to how everybody else was, but it wasn't me.
I am the third born of 11 siblings. I originally came to Chicago when I was like, I really don't remember, probably like 13 maybe. I was just graduating 8th grade, and I told my mom that when I go to high school, I'm not going to be a boy anymore. I started my transition with my mother's help at 13. No, it wasn't. 13, I guess you could say it was difficult, but it really wasn't difficult because where I started my transition, I didn't know nobody. So it's pretty much easy, but it was like, you know how high school is. It was those kids who didn't know or who thought they knew but wasn't really sure. So they gave me crap. Like,
I transitioned because I was more than what people saw of me. I transitioned because this is who I am. I transitioned not because I think God made a mistake, but He knew and He planned this role for me to take because it makes me strong. It makes me a stronger person. It makes me spiritually aware of who I am inside. It makes me determined. You know, I have days where I don't even feel like getting out of bed. Like, I think that's what everybody, but I have to push forward because energy don't stop, it keeps going. And I know with my energy, I'm trying to change the world. I'm trying to change people's views and stuff like that. And heal, like a lot of people need healing. And I noticed that a lot of people in urban communities, they target certain trends, whether it's sexually, whether it's physically, mentally, you know, and that's what I learned: hurt people, and they don't know. I learned not to blame them because they're not educated. You know, they're not used to seeing things that they unfamiliar with. That took some time for me to do because, like I told my friend, you looking for acceptance from anybody. You looking for acceptance for this person. You look for acceptance for this person. You don't have to look for acceptance. Nobody have to accept you, period, of who you are and what you are. But they must respect you. And that's the number one thing, respect. You know, you can hate somebody, you can disagree to disagree in a civilized manner. Before I started transitioning, it wasn't good reputation of trans people on there. Um, they all, like, even looking at movies, they have like cisgendered homosexual male playing a transgender part. Or sometimes they have a heterosexual person playing a transgender part. And so it wasn't real good reputations of trans people out there. So what I had to do is I self-educated myself. And I educated myself on the Native American customs, which they view trans people as two-spirited.
because we gonna get real. I don't think it depends on where you at in Chicago. I'm gonna say that much. Being trans on the north side of Chicago was great, but being trans and then, you know, moving from the north side to the south side of Chicago was a bit difficult because it's not as accepted as it is up north. I mean, of course, you face trials and tribulations. I mean, I still get nervous going outside if I have to take public transportation because so many girls been getting murdered in the last couple of years. So I used to be very, very terrified of Chicago because my mother would never let us come to the city. She used to tell us, they're like, oh, if you go to the city, you're going to get shot. Which I found out that wasn't true as I got older and started coming to the city myself. But what I would tell, because I get a lot of girls, especially when I used to work in community at Brave Space Alliance, and a lot of girls would ask me like, oh, Keosha, it must be really easy for you to do things or it's, to have like a normal life. And my question to them is like, what do you consider normal? Because I would assume things would be a lot harder for me, being that as someone who is passable, I think it makes things a lot harder versus someone that you can just like blind eye see that is trans. I think it makes things more dangerous for the more passable ones because, it's that fear of whoever not knowing, versus them already knowing everything about you. But the greatest advice I can give to somebody is to just be yourself. Everybody transitions at their own pace. Everybody's bodies work differently. Nobody's transition is going to be the same as anybody else's.
Well, I would say is you're not alone. You're not alone. You feeling this way for a reason. And my thing is to educate yourself, to try to find the reason behind it because you don't want to go into nothing that you don't understand. And with that being said, like a lot of people make decisions at an early age, not understanding what the decision, what comes with the decision they make. Transitioning, transitioning, I lost friends, I lost some family members, but also I gained friends, and I gained new family members that I call friends. But one thing I never lost, and that was myself. And that's the truth. And for younger transgender people coming out, I just want them to know that you're not alone. Educate yourself. Go see your doctor and get on HRT. Do it the correct way. Some trans people don't feel they need to conform to the HRT and nothing like that. And just my thing is just live your life in truth and live your life the best way you know it.
I don't know, because, in the trans community, they have this thing where either you're passable or you're not. Meaning either you look like a woman or you don't. So from my standpoint, I think I'm passable. I've never had a problem with like employment opportunities or anything. I've always had a job. I've always kept a job. There are some places that will discriminate on trans people, because of how they look or the way that they dress. And it makes it hard for a lot of trans girls to get jobs. So that's why most of us lean towards community service work.
It's all welcoming. I always had a job. Like like people seeing something in me that I didn't even see in myself until I started acknowledging certain things about myself. And like I'm articulate, I'm passionate, I'm determined, I got a strong head, and I'm a leader. I don't follow social construct. If it don't feel right, some people say if it don't sound right, it's wrong. If it don't feel right, it's wrong for me. Why should we have to put a name on it? Social construction that was set to divide and to control. And I don't fit nobody binary system but mine. And if that makes me like a bad person for me being who I am and living my life freely who I am, then to hell with it, for real, because I'm not going to stop being me, period. I've been through too much.
What was the most difficult part of transitioning for you?
The most difficult part of transitioning for me, that's a good question. Pretty much everything, like the starting of a new wardrobe, and then I didn't know too much anything about hair, nor did I know anything about makeup. I just thought like glitz and glam, and you wear stilettos every day, which is not good. I even shaved off my eyebrows in high school to Jean de Moi because I didn't know what I was doing. So that was pretty difficult. And then I guess getting my brothers and sisters to accept it probably was like the most difficult thing. Sharing a room with like my 2, 3 brothers. That was, yeah, that was hard. That was hard. So it went from sharing the rooms to me just sleeping in the living room.
It wasn't a good. I don't. Any parent, from like any parent through to my knowledge, they think of a loss, and that's understandable. It took me like years to understand that. Like, it wasn't, like I said, everything is based on social construction, and it wasn't taught to them. I come from a conservative family, very conservative, and just growing up, like, it wasn't a part of the norm. It wasn't. It caused me to have like depression. Like, I suffered from more depression already. Mind you, I was already depressed with my mom passing away. And but through all that pain, I found myself because it was a time for me to leave. I got put out of my parents' house.
What age was that?
After high school, 18. But I made a way for myself. It was just that I have my own mind. I'm a free spirited, and as I started finding myself, I started finding different type of people I never would be around or come across, like urban people, like people homeless and stuff like that. I never would like understand like them as much as being there. Like that old saying, say you never understand a person until you walk a mile in their shoes. And me seeing what they went through, I was always taught through like some of my family members that people who are homeless didn't do right, and that's where they ended up. And based on me learning and teaching myself as I became homeless, I educated myself on a lot of stuff. I started standing up for homeless rights, doing activism for homeless rights, going to Springfield with I don't know if I should say her name, but she educated us on homelessness, and we'd go to Springfield to pass bills to the Senate. Ann Holcomb, beautiful woman. I started playing the piano at 5. 5 going on 6. My grandmother always bought me instruments, guitar, the harmonica, drums, because she thought I would take from my father's side, and he played the guitar. But instead of me taking from my father's side, I took from my grandfather's side. They was in a band, like a music band. And when I took from their side of the family, I took their musical talent in playing the piano. My grandfather played the piano. Oh my God, so long. I did talent shows playing Mozart, Bach, Beethoven, then Alicia Keys adding that with it. Playing classical / hip hop songs, combining them together to make music.
10 years from now, Keosha's gonna have a salon and restaurant and partner with Mr. Carter. Okay. That's actually what I'm working on now. That and getting my house next year. But the main thing is getting my house next year. Because I would like to be my own boss. I do a lot of hair now. That's why my wig always changing. I do. I have a wide variety of clientele right now in the hair industry, and then I have a lot of trans girls that I know also that are in the same field. We're also gonna partner together to make this dream, because this is not just my dream, but the 2 other girls that I work with, our dreams in one. So we all have a right variety of clientele.
My biggest challenge was in Chicago was, I can say like it was everything else that was put against me, but it was me finding me. Because through all that stuff, it cut down layers and layers and layers until I had nothing else but myself to reconnect with. I reconnected with myself and who I am. And ever since then, I made a way for myself, you know.
I want to say, I don't know. Listen, the only thing I want to say is, this community, the trans community, is not like the gay community or lesbian community. This lifestyle is real. It's not a competition. Okay, there's no need for us to be fighting each other when a lot of us are getting murdered. There's no need for us to hate each other or, try to down someone from what they don't have or how they look because you feel you look better. Because at the end of the day, we are one. Just one. We're all the same team.
Recently, like they was gonna be starting to teach people about LGBTQ culture in school. I think that's the most positive and most educational way of stopping the violence, by self-educating, because a lot of things happen to us because it's not educated, and we was taught, socially conditioned to, if you don't understand, if you don't like something, throw it away, shun it. It's not good. If you don't understand nothing, it's not good. Instead of trying to get to understand a person, you'll find out like if a cisgender person would just sit and talk to a trans, they'll understand that we are all the same. We go through different things and we grow from different things, but we are all the same. We are human beings. I think race, religion, all that should be thrown out the garbage. We are human first before anything. And we should respect each other as such.
Now I'ma put it down like that. I'm leaving, I ain't coming back. You don't like the way I act anyway. You really don't have to react. Don't try to change my mind, in fact. Honey, I've already packed all my stuff. We're no longer kids, let's move on. And you are not my kid, so I'm done. Please don't